slow-mo for you. This is going to look...
We're going to take a look at that real quick. So here's a pretty accurate representation of this. The gun is got about the same barrel length as the one that was allegedly used. Here we're using 150 grain normal whitetail. I'm using this one because this is one of the lower energy rounds you can actually get for a 30-06. They only get more energetic after that. They only cause more damage. But let's take a second together and watch what happens when a 30-06 bolt-action rifle with a scope is shot. Those are just details to sort of match the alleged murder weapon. Let's see what happens when it's shot at ballistic gel.
Barrel with a Leopold VX3 HD scope up top.
Watch this. Ooh, so the bullet traveled in from that side.
We're down at the blocks after the first shot with a Norma 150 grain whitetail ammo. We have a good wound cavity, relatively shallow, at least compared to some of the...
Okay, so first up, notice what we're seeing here. This is the bullet way out here, and he's going to tell us how far it penetrated. This would have been about the width of Charlie's neck right here. This would have been the entrance wound, a little tiny thing. This would have been the size of the exit wound, more or less. Some big raggedy thing. And again, this penetration by the bullet causes some damage, just because it's like a hole puncher. It punches a hole through tissue that can, traverse nerves, blood vessels, cause mechanical damage. But the real damage is actually caused by this giant shock wave that happens in here as the bullet comes in with approximately 2,000 foot-pounds of energy and dumps that into this gel, which is, again, it's a solid substance in the sense that it is water held in a spot, which is a lot like a human body. And so when that 2,000 foot-pounds of energy comes in, where does it go? It doesn't just magically dissipate. It has to go somewhere, and that's a big part of the story we're telling here today.
That is a 30-06. Nothing at all like this little sound.
Counting or not counting game violence.
I believe, though, that Charlie was hit from the back side of his neck, right in here somewhere is where he was hit, and the bullet come out the front side of his neck. I will spare you the details. I have examined it thoroughly. The front is an exit wound. I have dealt with this when I was younger, 7 years working with some folks I don't even want to talk about, also law enforcement. I've seen a lot of people get shot. I know what the entrance and exit wounds look like. It's totally different. The front is clearly the exit wound, and that's why he bleeds so heavily. I am very surprised, though, but maybe because...
it's obviously not the scale, but this is what we're looking at, right? We have an exit wound, let's call it 38, 53, 57, 9 mil, probably a 9 mil. I assumed when we were first breaking the story, I assumed it was a closer shot than these are all pistol rounds, but something along the lines of a 38. They claim rifle. It sounds like a rifle. Doesn't sound like 30-06. Sounds like something smaller, maybe 5.56, maybe. I wouldn't think 7.62. 7.62 is a little bit deeper sound.
We can also tell that this is from the shot that everybody saw from up front. I'm not going to show any blood or gore in here, but this is actually just 4 frames. So if frame 0 is before he gets shot, he's shot. Frame 2, frame 3, frame 4. This is frames 3 and 4. We can already see him in this pugilist pose. That's where his hand is already curled like this. That means that he's had some kind of very traumatic injury to the midbrain level. It was an instant death. So after traumatic brain injury, it's called decorticate posturing. We also call it the pugilist pose because people, if they fall back and hit their head and they get really harmed, they'll come up in what looks like a boxing pose, but it's not like this. Their hands are actually usually flexed in a little. So this is an abnormal involuntary posture characterized by rigid extension of the legs, flexion of the arms toward the chest with clenched fists, and inward rotation of the wrists, often resembling a defensive boxing stance. It typically indicates severe damage to the cerebral hemispheres or midbrain is a sign of a poor prognosis. As soon as I saw this, that the day of the shooting, when he tipped and went over like that with that decorticate posturing, I knew that it was a very bad situation for him, very unlikely to be survived. But this also gives us some data we're going to have to work with. Again, I tell you, we work with actual facts. The fact is that we have to account now for a very violent midbrain injury, something that happened so fast that just 1/10 of a second after the shot happened, 4 frames later, right? If this is 30 frames per second, by the third frame here, which is 1/10 of a second, it's already like that was as instant a response as you could possibly have, right? And for people who are out there thinking, oh, this could have been Hollywood and it could have been faked, it's impossible to fake something that quickly, that fast. And there it was. So then he just tipped up and over and dropped the mic and all of that. But we now have to account for a very violent insult to the midbrain or lower brainstem area. So that's part of the deal. It can't have been, for example, a very low speed pistol round shot from a concealed palm thing, a 32 caliber or something like that. It doesn't have the force necessary to cause a little puncture here, rattle around in there, and cause this kind of damage. We need something that operates at an extremely high rate of speed. So this is part of our clue set.
Watch the amount of expansion that happens when a bullet hits. Imagine that being a neck. Let's go back. Imagine that. That amount of expansion from a bullet is exactly what we're talking about. This is the shock wave that hit his body, okay? And his body shook as such as he got hit, and his body expanded. Now, you can't see that with the naked eye. This is what it looks like in real speed. Boom. It's just that quick. It's done. Boom. Just that quick. So when you see Tyler's shirt go up, this is why it went up, because of the expansion, okay, of the bullet expanding inside of him. Boom. It creates that pocket of expansion. This is why when I say eviscerate.
It is right there. You see the necklace fly?
Yeah, no, I see the necklace.
And I do see what you're talking about the blood in the ear.
Yeah.
You actually can see right there.
You can see it right there, but it's not conclusive. So you see, the problem is this video has been cut before you can actually see it. All the videos are cut before you can see it.
And I don't know why, because this, you know.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So this is how so that's where he sits. Bang. Okay, so he starts toppling over right there. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Bang. Those two, I'll do a screenshot of that, and then I'll share that.
Do that again. I just did put mine on full screen so I can see it a little bit clearer.
Okay, so watch there.
Okay, I can see the hairline, and the hairline.
No, there's the hairline. You can just vaguely see a thin hairline there. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now look at the next one. Bang. It's thick. That's not the
I don't know if that's blood, honestly.
No, you can do a color analysis on it. You can do a color analysis.
I mean, it could be. I mean, you're right, because there is definitely something there. I wish we had more definitive proof, you know.
Okay, so here we look. Okay, you see that? So let me take a screenshot of that, because I can't zoom in any further. Okay, so I'll take a screenshot of that, and then I'll just do that. Okay.
Well, actually, no, I don't think that is the right one, because this one, I just saw it stopped. Is it stopped or no? Oh, no, it isn't stopped. This is the one. Okay, this is the full one.
Okay, so if you look at my screen, okay, I've got the two images side by side.
Gotcha.
See, there's the hairline. Let's draw a circle around it. Where's my wiggly thing? Okay, so we're looking at that there. So let me just take that off. Full.
I definitely see the difference there. There definitely. I think that is blood. I think you're right.
It is definitely. I did a color analysis on it. It's definitely blood. Now going to play the video.
Well, Grok agrees with you. I mean, Grok. That's what
I can see it.
Yep.
Okay. You see this? There's the ear canal. It's surrounded by bone, gentlemen. It's called the temporal bone, which would cause, if you shoot it at an angle, that bone will deflect the bullet down, going right through an exit where it exits.
Wouldn't the brain stem too?
I want to show you this. This is my 3D model. I took a screenshot. Okay. So I've looked at a couple of possible positions. So this 3D model, there's one caveat. I am waiting to confirm the exact heights of these points. Okay. So as you can see, that is on the corner there of the BA building.
Yep.
Okay. Right there. This balcony here interferes with the line of sight.
It actually does not. From videos that we've seen of people there and the drones and everything, it actually does not.
Okay, well, that's why I say I have to confirm this, because to me, I don't care if he was shot from there, there, or there. The point is, he wasn't shot from the Losi building.
Exactly, and that's my point too.
Semantics. So
we know, regardless of where he was shot at, we know it came from this corner. It had to have come from this corner somewhere up here.
That's correct. So I want to show you something else. So this is right really early on. So this was a screenshot I took of my 3D model. So this is the canopy that was over him. Okay, 2 meters by 3 meters.
Yep.
If when I plotted a direct vector from his right ear canal to where the exit wound in the neck is, which is right there, okay, I got a 42.6 degree angle. Okay, that is the exact angle of ear to neck. Okay, so that's
that kind of looks about right, because it would be at a steep angle because he is behind him and he's up at it would be a pretty steep angle.
Yeah, but I'll show you now what band. So that is a direct, but we know that because of momentum transfer, the bullet would actually come down. The moment it is decelerated, it will come down. And I can explain that from a physics perspective. So that means that the actual angle was less than 42.6 degrees. So if we now go to the next one, so that's the position of the exit wound. I traced it through the right ear canal. So the left and right will line up from this angle. So it gave me a yaw of about 9.17 degrees. But this was the crucial one. This gave me off of his, if you draw a plane through his shoulders, it gave me an angle of 8.4 degrees off of to the back of his 3 o'clock. And then when I placed that roughly, on the position he was, right there. You see where it points to? That's the 8.4 degrees, 8.4 degrees off his 3 o'clock. And look where this vector goes through. It goes through basically that position there.
Exactly.
All the top of this building here on the I think it's the FG building.
I don't think he was there though, because that was highly visible from the crowd. Anybody up there could have seen him.
No, it's not. It's actually not. Let's jump up to something else that people miss. This roof of the FG building has a ridge around it, and you can see it. You can see it there because the roof slopes down from this end to that end. You can see that ridge around it.
Yeah.
Okay. You can see the ridge around it right there. Now, our estimations is that ridge is about between 2 and 3 feet high. So you could very easily.
Somebody did a drone of that area. I'm trying to think of what. Oh, Ian Carroll.
Ian Carroll, yes. Ian Carroll did a video. So we can
Let me see if I can.
On that. The understanding, the majority of people in their understanding of what they heard and the sound and everything, we are going to lay to bed all of that, okay? But that is a full presentation just on sound. But I'm just going to show you quickly.
Cool.
Okay, so those are all evidence that we can't rely on, and we actually don't agree. And we can actually prove that, literally prove that through the physics, okay? That some of these things are not accurate. And people's assumptions and presumptions, it's because they don't understand how sound works, okay? So what I want to show you here is, okay, if this is a sound source here, right there where the 2 little red arrows is, and we know that sound travels on that day, due to the temperature and the relative humidity, the speed of sound was 346.8 meters per second. Sorry guys, I work in SI units metrics, but you can convert that to feet per second. Okay, so the sound travels at a constant velocity or constant speed. Now let's say we've got a camera here, and it has 2 microphones, because the cell phones or mobile phones all have 2 microphones. You've got a microphone on this corner, and you've got a microphone on this corner. So what you're going to see is, as the sound comes past, the left microphone is going to record the sound before the right microphone. And you will see it when you look at the sound analysis. There's the sound coming into the left microphone on the top, and then it is recorded by the right microphone. Okay? Now, and you will always have that. So what that tells us is, that shows us the direction, because we can calculate the difference, the angle. We can calculate this angle that the phone is relative to the shooter based on the sound, and we know what direction the camera was facing. So we can accurately calculate exactly the direction where the sound came from. Now, to make it even easier, is I'm gonna say, okay, so this camera here, this one here, is pointing in this direction. It's pointing in this direction, okay? If the sound source were on this trajectory here, what will happen? See what happens when I draw a circle in. Okay, you see that? So what will happen is, the sound will arrive at exactly the same time for both microphones. So you can exactly know that the sound came from that angle, exactly where the camera is pointing. Now I'm going to show you guys quickly an audio. So what we have is I'll show you this image here. So the angle from which this video was taken, this video here. Okay. So this video here, the camera, because the camera is sitting, actually is pointing here. Okay. Sort of in between the speakers, because the camera is on the left side of the phone. Okay. Or the top of the phone. And because this is in landscape, it points there. What we've done is we've looked at the sound of this footage, and the sound actually shows the stereo sound arriving at exactly the same time, which means that this camera was pointing exactly at the shooter's location. Guess where it's pointing, guys? It's pointing up there. If you extrapolate that point up there, okay, it's going to get to the corner of the BA building or that corner of the FG building. Now, if we have a portrait view of this same footage, which we do, and I'll tell you guys, so this video here, so let me just pause that.
Yeah, I have this video. I was looking at it earlier.
Yeah, so this video here, right as the shot rang out there, guess where it's pointing? Okay, it's also pointing in that direction, roughly, so it's slightly off, okay? But what it means is we can very accurately determine the direction of where the sound came from. And the direction came from either there or there. That's it. We can prove that with sound. It is unrefutable. Unrefutable.
Like it was a direct shot to the heart. It looked like right where his heart is, it started going red. He fell back and went to his side. And then I looked down at the crowd.
Basically, I heard a loud bang, which I figured a shot would be a little bit louder, but I just saw it hit him in the chest, and then all of a sudden just tons of blood gushing right out where his heart is, and then he like fell over and slumped down, and everybody got down and was screaming, and then we all ran.
He's hit right here from behind, and this one goes down and through his neck, and look at his neck bulge forward. You can see the bulging forward as he slumps slightly to the left. And as he's doing that, he's then hit by this guy right here. This guy hits him from the front. So,
how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great. 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 Violence? Great. How many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great. How many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great. How many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
together and look at all this and see how it happened. But 3 patsies, 2 shooters, 2 distractions. 3 patsies, yellow, LC center, right there, right there. 2 shooters, those are the red. 2 distractions, 1 right there, 1 right there. Okay, that was an immediate on the ground distraction. This was an immediate on the news distraction to misdirect about false information. All right, so all of this was playing in play at one time, and this is why I'm calling it an operation. All right, everybody is assuming that this guy right here on LC, okay, Tyler Robinson, took a shot and hit Kirk right here in the middle. Hit Kirk right here in the middle of the what do you call this thing? We'll say courtyard because that's what it's called on Google Maps. So we'll call it the courtyard. Hit Kirk right here in the middle of the courtyard. Now, that is a very long shot. It's not crazy long of a shot, but it's a decent distance, about a football field and a half away, to hit somebody, square in the neck. What we realized is a lot of that data was wrong. The type of weapon that they were saying was used was just way too powerful, and it literally would have been a really, really a way worse day than what it was for Charlie Kirk. So what did I find out? What I ended up finding out is that none of this happened the way they said it happened. And as a matter of fact, this person right here, there's no way that this person could have been the shooter. Why? Because this person on the BA building was the shooter. This is who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. This is the angle that they did it from right here. This is who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. This is who shot and killed Charlie Kirk right here. This was the first shot. This was the second shot. Again, this was the first shot. This was the second shot. And I'm going to prove this to you, okay? This person right here was nothing more than a patsy. This person right here, nothing more than a patsy. This person is cell phone gun guy. This person right here is pistol patsy, okay? This is distraction number 1. This is George Zen right here. This is distraction number 2. This is Phil Lyman on TV, and we'll get to his interview in a second, okay? And of course, back here, the infamous Tyler Robinson, who is being splashed all over the media as the person who's, caused all of this. Tyler Robinson did not cause this, guys. I don't know to what point he has an involvement, but I know it is not nefarious in a sense that he has caused any kind of real crime. I'm just going to be honest with you. He didn't shoot anybody. He didn't do anything. He was there. As far as I know of, he was in the area. We'll just say, I'm not even going to say there. He was in the area. And that's not a crime. As far as I can tell, it's definitely not a crime. I believe that he and others were coerced to go to the area that day, the patsies. I believe that they were groomed on the expectations of what they were to provide that day, and the patsies as well as the distractions. And I believe everybody played their role. I believe everybody did what they were supposed to do, including the 2 red dots. And I'm going to prove that.
Mormons have more kids than they can afford.
Here you have the shooter signaling to someone else saying, 5 minutes until the shot. And look carefully who is watching the signal. Watch again.
I think it's time for Mormons.
Here the man in the blue shirt turns on his video glasses I only know this because I have the same glasses.
Stuff.
A minute later, he signals 4-minute mark.
This country.
Here he looks over to see if Tyler Robinson is on the roof in position, then fixes the detonator on his left shoulder bicep. Look carefully at the bulge on his shoulder.
Around the world. I love how polite you are. I have my team as Mormon. Terrell's a Mormon, Andrew's a Mormon. Mormons are great people. So everything I say, everybody, I'm an evangelical Christian.
The assassin now points his watch outwards and tells everyone to watch the time.
For the last 10 years.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Security detail, specifically this man with these meta AI shades on that'll make you question this ridiculous narrative even more so. So there he is. He turns on his shades right there. He's filming. Charlie gets hit. Rest in peace. Reacts. Goes up to the body. There we go. The handoff right there. You see? Everyone bum rushing the stage, and right there, handoff. There's a handoff to a gentleman in a shirt. So just to recap, right there, he is taking something from Charlie, which people think is the lav mic that had the explosive device in it, handing it off to this guy. See, everybody's rushing the stage. He has one job. He knows exactly what he needs to do. Instead of caring about making sure Charlie's okay, his first reaction is to pull something away, to get something off of Charlie, to give it to the guy in the black shirt, who then knows exactly what to do with it and runs off with it. I mean, if you're security detail, you think that the first thing you want to do is deal with Charlie and what's happening to Charlie. His first reaction was, let me get this suspicious thing off of Charlie and give it to this guy who knew exactly